What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a mixtape by Mac Miller from 2012. Basically, this product is called Macadelic. Basically, this product is called Macadelic, and it came out in the spring of 2012. So the thing about this particular product here is Mac Miller was on a pretty big mixtape run throughout the early 2010s as far as this first going to happen. This is like the next project, one of the next projects that he put out after his hit album from late 2011, Blue Slide Park, which was definitely a good college and frat type project within the pitch behind it. Had a lot of good fares on there. It was a pretty overall affable type project to kind of get. It's been a little bit since I reviewed that one. I need to purchase that particular product, but I reviewed that way back in like the spring of 2023 within the pitch behind it. I figured, I could have gotten to watching movies with the sound off his 2013 album, but I wanted to get to this one because I do remember fucking with this product back in like the early 2010s when it first came out. I particularly remember a hit single, Loud, as far as this was going to happen. Now, I always kind of wondered, back in those days, I thought, I was kind of underneath the impression that Mac Miller needed to make more songs like that. So within the pitch, that is a pretty excellent song within the pitch. It's kind of the concept. This mixtape's going to get a classic score here. This mixtape's going to get a classic score here within those particular type pitches, but it's just kind of the conduct that this is a different type pitch. Like, I don't want to say that Loud is a misnomer in terms of quality, but it is different from most of the essence of this particular product. It just has a particular theme about it that is just a lot more lo-fi within the pitches. It's a lot more lo-fi and kind of more like drifty within the pitch as far as those fares would kind of happen this within a particular aspect of it. So it's just more like when you think of like East Coast kind of Wu-Tang like Hotbox to Whip and pitches like that, some of those particular type fares has a lot of those particular products just in good. Like Mac Miller usually being spaced out within the pitch behind, it's a typical type fare of this particular product. It's some excellent type fare to kind of get it, but it's just a different approach from most folks around this particular time when you think of what was going on. Kind of taking the concept of like the kind of loftiness of something of like a Wiz Khalifa mixtape, like Cushion Orange Juice, some of those type of ones, and like his Taylor Alderdice project from 2012 with like Big Sean's kind of more thought-provoking. I mean, I would say like Mac Miller is within the range of like almost Backpacker, but he just has a little bit more edge factor towards it, more so than like the concept of like some of those particular type folks that were kind of pushing like blog rap around this time as far as those pitches. So it is kind of a blend and a conduit of like some blog rap within some of these type fares, but it does within like the typical type fare, like a more mixtape grind within it. So it's just the pitch. I would almost say this is kind of like the more street and urban type feel of like Blue Slide Park, which is pretty much like a good 1-2 punch. That particular album, Blue Slide Park, was definitely like the frat party, red cup, and beer pong type project within the pitch behind it. Plenty of good thumpers on there. Plenty of good thumpers and overall keg starters and pitches like that on there, but this particular product has a little bit more grit and just more amidst like the everyday living. It's actually surprising that this particular product's a little bit more amidst like the everyday living compared to, at least from what, I mean, I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember that project is full bound, but at least the Blue Slide Park had the bigger singles, a little bit more noisemakers, the ones that were just more ravenous within the pitch, but this particular one just has more in-between type moments, like the moments where maybe you need to pick up envelopes for bill paying on like a random Tuesday, or just some cruise arounds with some buddies you haven't seen in a while, or who are just on the other side of town, pitches like that, some fares like that. Some of those particular ones are just a particularly feeling good kind of morning of like a Wednesday morning where you feel like going to the gym, some of those type pitches where you just have that hustle mode kind of within you. So it's just a good pitch, like the kind of crevices of some of the conducts of what particularly going on with like the urban type living. I mean, it's a residential type album in like a bigger city type sense, but it nails the pitch of particularly doing it. So I like the fare behind some of these, but just to be able to say, I mean, it does have some turn up type jumps on here, and it kind of does it in a differential type way. I was surprised to get a Lex Luger beat on here that was not a drill type one. There's some fares like that. There's a cat named ID Labs on here that's pretty good as well. It gives some pretty good rumblers. So it just has some of these type moments that just has like some good, I mean, this is a transcendent type album. It takes like the product of something like you'd say alternative rock like Third Eye Blind and like Marcy Playground, some of those type folks with like the pitch as far as saying just like the theme of it's kind of more East Coast kind of mixtape type grit. So it's kind of like, it's similar to ASAP Rocky as well. I'd say ASAP Rocky's kind of more kind of similar to ASAP Rocky's more hotbox the whip type fare, just without the chopped and screwedness of it. But yeah, just be able to say here, so apparently I'm not as full bound sure. I want to say originally there might have been 2 singles. I want to say that there was at least, I guess I could look that up as far as those fares kind of happen. I know at least Loud was a single, but I'm not really as full bound sure as like yeah. So there were at least 2 singles off this product, so I'm going to list those and we'll get to it. But basically, I recommend every song on this particular album. So yeah, this mixtape is going to get a 10 out of 10, or for the most part, 14 and a half out of 15. One is an almost song, but within the pitch, for the most part, it works. It's supreme within the concept of it. So Loud is the lead singer. The song Loud is the lead single here. It's pretty blitzing type one. It's like a classic 2010s mixtape, get crunk to and kind of get here. Just ballistic crazes about this particular one. Fun kickoff, but kind of singular within the pitch volume. So it's just kind of the tone as far as I was saying. Real nice, just get crunk like some of those type fairs goes. Pretty much with like the dynamite. This is like a good bolsterment to like the particular Blue Slide. This particular song Loud is like a good bolsterment to like the further kind of hit success of Blue Slide Park. So it's just a good look. Once the energy of Blue Slide Park kind of wore off around the fall of 2011, winter of 2012, this kind of pitches some further type ones. Kind of say this is a refreshing and new type song I'm gonna get within some of those type pitches. So it's like, oh, what is this song? It's from the fashion behind it, and it's free on top of that. So just being able to say good type song. But like I said, I don't want to say this is a misnomer in terms of the concept as far as saying that there's just not like any other hits on here, but it's just kind of the concept that if you're expecting further type craziness like some of the ones like the singles from Blue Slide Park and then some of the fashions of this particular song, it's more kind of it's more of like a cool, it's more of like a cool type personality throughout most of this product compared to this particular song's hot personality. So it's just in the pitch. But second single, which didn't seemingly chart as heavily, was Lucky Ass Bitch, and it says Juicy J on here. This is like a real nice one. This is the Lex Luger be, like I was saying, pretty excellent type fair. Kind of get this. It's a real nice concept to be able to get within the fair here as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just as far as saying like, you would think, both these kind of have more turn up type fashion. I remember this song from back in the day. I did mess with this song a lot more when I had it on my MP3 player. Still have it on my MP3 player, but this is a song I go back with songs like Loud, Thoughts from a Balcony, Lucky Ass Bitch, some of those type ones, Ignorant, some of those type ones. I kind of went for the more turn up type songs back in 2012, 2015, some of those type years, but Lucky Ass Bitch is a nice one. It's like a 3-6 Mafia kind of leeriness with like a mixtape haze about it here. Great song to smoke to within a more kind of pedestrian, kind of big city type fog within the pitch, just in a darker, shrill type sense. It's like a nice passive aggressive kind of Lex Luger hit to kind of get within those particular type fairs. So it's an interesting type hit. It's an interesting type pitch to kind of have the Lex Luger sound that he was kind of more, and he was a pretty rave producer around this particular time, early 20. He's a particularly pretty rave producer around late 2011, early 2012. So it's a good type pitch of meeting of worlds as far as Mac Miller's more kind of drifted kind of personality with like the concept of Lex Luger's more kind of carnivorous type fare. So I'm saying Mac Miller wasn't carnivorous, just kind of the concept that he's pretty. Mac Miller can definitely do like Mac Miller can definitely do lo-fi songs and just more kind of Mac Miller can definitely do more lo-fi songs within the pitch. So it's a good type fare, but the song should have probably charted heavier than it did. This would have been a good type pitch considering the fact that drill rap was starting to phase out a little bit by this particular time. So this is a good look to kind of attempted to have furthered some hit Lex Luger type productions, but it's just kind of the concept. I don't know why this song didn't catch on more. The thing about this particular product, Mac Miller was kind of token in like the sense of being like the college guy rapper as far as this pitch kind of happened. Just between albums like Blue Slide Park and Good AM, some of those type ones, watching movies with the sound off. For a good while, he kind of established like a buzz, like the fraternized and kind of frat party, like mingle type socialized house party type kickoff within like romping, and it's more campus type music within the pitch. But some of this particular type fare, I feel like Loud definitely does that, but Lucky Ass Bitch is a little bit more of like typical kind of mixtape type format. So it's not like it breaks from the theme as far as like he wouldn't be able to do it, but it's just kind of the pitch. I just think the concept of, I don't know, this song. The song is an excellent song, but the concept of like casually catching on, I just think the concept of the songs that he was kind of known for, it felt like it minorly clashed with in a sense. But it's just kind of, this feels more of like a 3-6 Mafia song, something that you would have heard Juicy J on. I like the concept of getting this particular song, but it's different from most of the pitches. Loud and Lucky Ass Bitch are kind of different from most of this album, but it's still an excellent type song. I do recommend it quite a bit. It's just kind of the concept that it is they both are a different direction from the core of this project. But so yeah, I recommend every song in here within the pitch. So the only song I don't recommend full bound is just the song Sunlight. So I'll talk about that one. This is an almost song. It's like a lo-fi kind of new day balm. Sunlight's kind of like a lo-fi kind of new day balm to kind of get here, just a dewy kind of hop to it. I'd had to say smoke a few. I'd had to say within this particular song, definitely enjoy the particular fare of it, and it's like some sludgy kind of day commerce within the pitch. So there's some ones on here, songs like The Question, songs like Songs like The Question, songs like America, some of these type ones that just have the relative type commerce within the pitch behind it, just kind of conduit type moments within the fair. I mean, this one has like a good amount of pep towards it. This is probably one that's probably one of the more type ones where it's not so much like the usual dredge of just kind of being pissed off and just like kind of a more rampant and kind of just more feral type mode. It's kind of the, I mean, Mac Miller is still pretty like slogged within this project, but at least he still kind of has enough alertness to kind of be like, hey, you know, it's just kind of the pitch as far as just more in like an edge type format. But this is a particular one that just has a little bit more beaming type prospect about it as far as like the concept, as far as saying it's just a little bit more, just has more trivialness or just almost joviality towards within the fair behind it. It's just kind of the concept. I do like it's a good type song within that pitch, gonna have for some of that just hop and bop type fair, just in a lo-fi type sense. But the problem with it is just the fact that if you're not, like, if the Thrive is not really within the access, like if the Thrive is not really within the typical kind of commotion, if it is just more neighborhood type fairs, this is kind of more of a song for, this is kind of a more song for having more jive about it. So it's just with the pitch of things are a little bit more, this is kind of more of a jive type song, so if things are a little bit more mundane, just kind of, it loses some of the flavor about it. But it's just with the pitch as far as saying it's just within the concept. I look after it here, so just being honest, so yeah, basically recommend this mixtape, full bound minus the half type, minus Sunlight being an almost song. So this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10 just with the fair behind it. So the question's a nice one. There are some good guests on here. Kendrick Lamar is on here, Juicy J is on here, Cameron's on here, Lil Wayne's on here. So for a particular free mixtape, considering all the effort that went into it, some excellent type fair, getting, you know, late prime, getting early 2010s primarily Lil Wayne on this particular fair. 2012 was kind of an awkward year for Lil Wayne because he didn't put out too much. Juicy J before he was getting ready to drop Stay Trippy is on here. Kendrick Lamar before he was getting ready to drop Good Kid, Mad City is on here. Some of these good type ones within the pitch. Cameron and kind of more awkward eras on here. Casey Veggies and Joey Badass are on here. I want to say I think, I don't know if Joey Badass is a part of Odd Future, but I think at least Casey Veggies is within the pitch. That's some good type fair within that. But it's another cat on here named Sir Michael Rock, so some good type fairs for some of these type pitches, and then a hook singer named Iman Omari, so it's good type fair. But I look after it just within the fair as far as saying, Fuck 'em all is a real nice one as far as these fairs can happen. It's like some in-between moments, kind of feels like a passive kind of level up song, kind of get within these pitches. Just a good song to ride, situate, and upgrade as far as those fairs can happen. It feels like the concept of like something of like a save point, like a video game, something within that particular type fair. Just kind of the pitch as far as saying just a very ethereal type pitch. The product of this particular album here just has like some of that Greek type aspect. You can tell by the album cover, at least the one with all the naked women on the cover, you'd have to say within the pitch, it just feels like a little bit more Greek-like within the particular fair, or just something that feels ripped out of like a Roman type movie, something like Troy or one of those type movies within the pitch as far as those fairs can happen. There's just some moments for some of that. There's just like some movie going, kind of just movie scene kind of cinematics within the telling. There's some ones particularly like I'd say like Fuck 'em all is kind of like that in particular. I feel like there's another one on here I'm trying to think of. I don't know if it's like I want to say 1 through 8 is like that as well. So both those are kind of like a 1-2 punch within some of that more Greek type fashion. Good type fairs. Probably at least one other one within that particular. Oh yeah, Angels When She Shuts Her Eyes is like that as well. Just some of those just kind of more, just kind of like Mediterranean type feels within the pitch. It just has that particular fair about it. 1 through 8 is a nice one. It's like a foggy kind of lo-fi primer for excitement. I'd have to say here, just transcended but productive. But I'd have to say within the pitch behind it. So it's just kind of one of those type ones where you're going to be dazed a bit, but it's just kind of the concept of this a typical type fair where you're just like whoa and stuff like that. You just have to say within the pitch. But it's just kind of, it's a good hustle song within the pitch. Just kind of dazed within the format of it, but still a good motivate type one to kind of get out and about. Just typical type fashion, just having that, just that typical type fashion being floaty and in lo-fi type formats. It's like a lifestyle. And it's a good song to brew to as far as those first going to happen. So a real great song to get tore up to out this particular product is Vitamins. Just within the pitch, it's like a feeling schizo and tripped out kind of vehicle. Smokage, I'd have to say here, just hot box, red eyes type tune within those pitches. Who are pretty good city outings within the fair. So it's just kind of the concept, whether on foot or just vehicle bound within the pitch behind. It's just kind of a product that just like that typical kind of city fair. It feels like something Old Dirty Bastard would have done back in 95 or 97. Some of those particular type fairs, Ghostface Killer, some of those type ones. Just more Wu-Tang back in like the 90s, just with like a typical kind of frolic and pep to your step within the fair behind it. Typical kind of mixtape jump, kind of get within some of those type pitches. There are a good handful of hot box songs on here, but this is the pitch. This is one to really be tore up to. Like, this is not a particularly heavy going kind of blitzing type album, but within the pitch, so a lot of this is pretty stoned as hell within the pitch. So it's more transcendent within the pitch. It is the after effects, and not so much like the amidst like the smoking, but just kind of the product of what you do after you've been stoned a bit and just kind of figuring out what you're going to do with the rest of the day. So this is kind of the concept. where it's just more lo-fi type lifestyle within the pitch of after the smokage is done, not so much amidst like sparking some up and having that particular product like the entertainment, but once you have like another 3 or 4 hours left of still being blitzed out, it's this kind of concept of some products of just what you do within the fairs. But vitamins more amidst like the turn up of that. Desperado is a nice one. It's like a dreary kind of middle fingers up kind of residential sludge kind of get here. Just what I'd say, just some air and run kind of traffic I'd say within those pitches. Just good song to yap to and get snacks as far as those fairs going to happen. So it's just kind of the product. Feels like something that Kanye West would have done just back in like the college dropout and late registration days. Some of those type fairs just kind of feels like a backpacker type song within the pitch of just having a little bit more food for thought, but just kind of in a more kind of just having the vent type altitude about it. It's kind of a pitch of just one. It's kind of more local type attitude, maybe just a ruffle type day within the pitch as far as those fairs going to have them work pissed you off, something like that. Just kind of not in the mood type day within the particular fair about it, but it's kind of the product of this kind of typical, this dredge or just like the particular fair, just something like alternative rock just without the singing as far as those fairs going to have a good song and get snacks to. Some of those type pitches just recalibrate. Angels When She Shuts Her Eyes is a nice one as well. It's like a lofty and movie scene like kind of etherealness kind of get here, just get centered about this particular song. So it's just some pitches like that. Like I was saying, it's another one of those Mediterranean type ones. Really effectual type one, just nails the pitch about it as far as those fairs can happen. Just real has a good type feeling about it. It's the Angels When She Shuts Her Eyes, like the typical type fair that like the Weeknd would kind of do. Just really like the Angels When She Shuts Her Eyes, the particular lofty type fair that like the Weeknd would kind of do with some of his mixtapes and albums as far as those first gonna happen. So it's just real high up in the pitch. Great venue type song kind of get within those pitches. Just good crowded type venue within the fair behind it. Just busy body, just busy type one within the pitch. Just in a more mixtape type fashion. So it's good type tone. America is a nice one. America's a real nice one here. It's like a glazed kind of midday simmering kind of get here. Just a big city kind of vehicle wild out within those pitches. Just lyrical type one to kind of get for some of those type fairs. Just more mixtape type format like Wu-Tang kind of more NY and just pitch East Coast kind of vehicle hot boxes within the pitch behind. It's like some dredge. You kind of smoke several piffs within the pitch behind as far as those first gonna happen. It's more mist like the smoking. It's this lot like I was saying. It's more mist of smoking. Like I was saying, there's a lot of songs within the pitch of being within the concept of having the stonish type fair, but it's just within the concept. This is more mist like the activity of doing it. Just having some homies pitches like that, just civil type fashion. Bunch of Burger King in the cars and fairs like that. Just civil kind of product. Just figuring out some stuff as far as like the conduct of just like basic kind of kickback and just gab some of those particular type fairs. Just kind of more of like a more kind of kill some time and just chew the fat type song within pitch behind. So it's good type fair. Aliens Fighting Robots is a nice one here. This feels like dorm music and kind of local hangout sludge kind of get here. Just some PS2 and kind of blaze up within the pitch behind this particular type fair. This particular fair like that, just standard concepts of just hang out just within localized type fashion. Just red cuts within a more calmer type fashion. Not necessarily like a blitz or like loud or like lucky ass bitch. Some of those type ones are even ignorant, but some of those particular type fairs just like the concept of just having homies around where it's just not more vehicle centric within the pitch. It's kind of the product of this. Something more where there would be something like a PlayStation on or just some movies nearby, DVDs nearby, pitches like that, some of those standard type fairs within the pitch behind it. So it's kind of more within the fashion of this. Within the fashion, like this particular, like when I was saying about this product that it does have some of that frat party and just kind of more dorm type fashion, just more college rap or just more particular, seeming like localized kind of residential campus type music. This is the particular one that just has that more fair, just more around the neighborhood, just within fashion, but just within the fashion. I mean, this is a social type project. I definitely think the social score is going to get a pretty high score, but it's just in the pitch. Like I was saying, with some of these type ones, Aliens Fighting Robots is one of those particular type fairs, just more in the neighborhood or romp type fashion, campus type fashion. I'd say America's a good type one for some of that type pitch. Just like some step out with your pals vehicle wise and like Thoughts from a Balcony definitely nails that particular vibe. So just the ones within some of those type fairs just having the particular romping type fashion behind it. Question definitely does that, some of those type ones. But speaking of Thoughts from a Balcony, I haven't talked about this one here, but this is another song I go back with the real excellent type one here. It's like a woozing kind of after affected rumination kind of get here. Just a nice mellow mingle, I'd have to say, within those pitches. Some good song to toke to. Just kind of the fashion, just like something as like the party's starting to wind down, pitches like that after like the craziness factor, songs like Loud and Lucky Ass Bitch, some of those type ones. It's more within the fashion as far as saying, more within the fashion as far as just saying pulling like a bell aside, just kind of the more personal type moments that just like standard fare, just like contemplate as far as those pitch can happen, just kind of the product of figuring out next moves as far as those pitch can happen, just kind of the product of this, whether or not like you're just thinking like maybe you want to get a new job or just the concept of this trying to figure out like want to get a new job or get like a new vehicle, some of those type pitches just in the tone to some of that particular type fashion, just standard contemplate within the fashion, just some map out just within the I mean, this particular type fair just has some good after effect kind of rumination. Just kind of a more kind of typical Eminem type fashion just in the pitch as far as this fair is going to happen. Kind of one of the depthier songs out this particular product. I mean, this product has like rumination on here, but a lot of it just is kind of more particular type fashion and just kind of almost at face value. But there are deeper type moments on here within the pitch behind it, just kind of the product of this. It definitely has stoner's rumination, but in terms of, like the product of this, it definitely has stoner type rumination, but in terms of, like the product of like more Hobson and Tech Nine and Eminem type torment within some of those type pitches, this is a good nice one for that. So it just has that particular fair. I would also say the question. I don't know if I talked about the question. I think I was going to talk about the question, but this is a nice one here. It's like a jury kind of midday traffic and simple pay bills and errands. The questions like a jury kind of midday traffic and simple kind of pay bills and get errands done type fashion within it. Just good song for goodies and enjoy as far as this pitch kind of happen. It's kind of a product of something that Wiz Khalifa would kind of do some of those type folks. Just more within the trajectory, just like standard Tuesday, Wednesday type fair. Just get some stuff done just in the pitch of just being productive, but just kind of in a more days type fashion. Good smoke type song kind of get within those pitches. Yeah, just within the fair. So I'm trying to think of some other ones I haven't talked about on here. Ignorance, another one. So Ignorant with Cameron's a nice one. It's like a real talk kind of city edge kind of get here, just more weight, kind of change of flavor. I'd have to say within the pitch behind it. This is different from the typical fashion of Mac Miller. This one just feels a little bit more within like that particular grit of something like more East Coast cats would kind of do. Ghostface Kill, some of those type folks. It's like some pedestrian kind of city grime. I'd have to say here, a good song to toke too. So it's like some 36 Mafia kind of snack runs, just within the factor of just more kind of lively, just this like one of the few type ones that is in low fire, just particular days. It's a good song to smoke to, but this has more 36 Mafia type fashion, more kind of spastic type folks. It's more within like almost drill type fashion, but not necessarily drill, but just kind of more turn up. That's the opposite of lo-fi within the pitch. So Cameron and Mac Miller do great on this particular song, Ignorant, just to say on top of that. And then the morning after is a nice one as well. It's like a jury kind of follow-up malaise that I have to say here. Goes with Thoughts from a Balcony. I would definitely feel like just a quieter kind of routine. This particular song would be like a quieter kind of routine primer as far as this pitch can happen. So definitely something for like 5:45, 6:15 in the morning. It's like the day starting to begin. It's the after effects of where it's not still amidst like the party scene of like 3:15, 3:45, some of those type fairs just in the fashion behind, but kind of getting towards the concept of starting like the next day within the fashion of maybe having gotten mild amounts of sleep or within the fashion of particular fairs. So it's just within the concept as far as saying just to step out of just getting towards hitting up Denny's, some of those type fashions, getting recalibrated and get started with like the routine kind of day fair within. So it's good type fashion just from the pitch, works for the tone behind it. So yeah, this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10. I think I talked about every song in here. So I think I talked about every song in here as far as this fair is going to happen, just within the pitch behind it, just within the conduct. Plenty of good type ones on here. But like I was saying, most of this is more transcendent within the pitch. This neighborhood jaunts, this typical kind of neighborhood type fashions, romps, and campus type jaunts and ventures as far as this fair is going to happen. Some bill paying traffic type music, standard fare for some of those type fairs. Surprisingly, not a lot of makeshift songs. It just feels more amidst like the commerce. I mean, it's not to say like this is full bound kind of student, more learning type fashion within the pitch, but it's just kind of the product of this. Kind of like it doesn't put like a heavy kind of emphasis on like the work type fair, just like the product of just like the 9 to 5 or the particular pitch that you have within the pitch behind. It's just kind of more within the fashion of this, like the moments after like the product of it. So it's just kind of does it without the full bound kind of mention of work, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying just some conduit type moments that just work for like the fair, just the hotbox moments with your pals and the bill paying type moments that just getting like the bill paying type moments of getting aligned and like the after effects of like some of the products of like some more festive type moments like Thoughts from a Balcony and 1 through 8 and like the morning after and Angels when she shuts her eyes and some of those type ones within the pitch. It was just good type fair. So it's just a product pretty productive, just good social cadence within it. But it's just kind of the concept. There's more transit type moments more so than full bound kind of amidst the carnage, but it's just a good type concept of just having like the crevice type moments for like these particular fairs. So it just does within the pitch. Real nice. This kind of has more expansion, like the concept of Blue Slide Park, where that one's a little bit more spastic amidst like the social kind of ness of it, but this one just has more particular moments for in between. So it's good type fair. But the social score, I'll probably give the social. Like I said, the social score was going to get a high score, but just within the pitch, I like the blitzers on here. It's not like this product lacks in terms of blitzers, but it's this kind of the fashion in terms of like the immediate kind of attention grabbers. It's a little bit more kind of like something that just requires more attentiveness, I'd say. So I'd probably say maybe like a 9.5 or 9.25, one of the two, just in the pitch behind. I mean, because the quality is probably be a 9.5, but because of the lack of just sheer ones, it'd probably be more of like a 9.25. So maybe 9.25, but just in the pitch, as I'd say, there are some ones, but there's just not many songs like Loud or Lucky Ass Bitch, like I was saying. But there are some hotbox type songs like America and like Angels when she shuts her eyes, and particular affairs like that. Some of those type ones that I'd say. And I don't know if I talked about Fight the Feeling. So I wanted to talk about here. I forgot to talk about this one. This says Kendrick on here. It's good type fare for this. This is before Good Kid, Mad City. So Fight the Feelings, like a bouncy kind of lo-fi social soiree to kind of get here. Just a punch bowl. This definitely like some punch bowl music, kind of simple entertainment. It has to say here, just good song for some catch-ups as far as those first going to have. So it's just from the pitch as far as saying, just kind of more just within the fashion residential type fare where there's going to be like hors d'oeuvres or appetizers, some of those type pitches, just like some get-togethers. Not necessarily like house party where the crazes are out and the kegs and the beer pong pitches like that, but just kind of more social festivities, of just more neighborhood type fashions of maybe just kind of the pitch of just more, not necessarily civil, but just kind of more middle class kind of just typical kind of gatherings of just like, I wouldn't say like maybe like playing like poker night or something like that, just typical type, just watch a few football games, something within that particular fair, poker, football, some of that type fashion, just more standard, maybe 2 or 3 beers, but not much more than that. It's kind of standard type fashion with the pitch, so it's good type fare for that particular one. But yeah, just to say the hit behind this particular album, 9.25 social. So in terms of future, like the unfortunate thing is Mac Miller is deceased within those particular fairs, but he does have a good number of other products that do eventually want to get to, like watching movies with the sound off, some of those particular type fairs. So we're going to get to some of those type ones just in the pitch behind. But this is a classic here, just be able to say it is a good expansion. Definitely would combine this with like Blue Slide Park's excellent 1-2 punch for both these. Some excellent type fare.